So good evening, everybody, and welcome to November's Balance Your Shift. And I am Elizabeth Pfeiffer. So today we're going to begin by taking a deep breath in, getting all settled in your seats, just letting go of everything that happened today or anything you're thinking about, worrying about, anything that's floating around in your head. Just ask your mind to shut off. Let him or her go in the back, have some treats, and let it turn off for a minute. So we're going to start by setting up this space, and then we're going to go right into where the energy is going and begin. So just take a deep breath in, pulling all of your energy and your awareness into your heart space. We call it the divine line, which is a tube of light that flows just in front of the spine. Some people like to just sit in their heart chakra. Either way is fine. Breathing in all of your energy from the past. Exhaling all discord. Good. Breathing in all of your energy from the future and bringing that into your line, which is this present breath of now. And exhaling all of the discord, making sure that all of your energy for you, your body, and your team are present in this moment. And we call forth the ascended masters, your guides, you from the future as an ascended master, your higher self, your team, the energy consciousness that surrounds you in another dimension, the angelic beings of love and light that you work with. And there's an energy consciousness around the planet who has mastery in helping souls shift into a higher vibration during times of transformation. And I don't have their name exactly, what they call themselves, but they are light beings, enlightened light beings that have come to serve. And we're going to ask them to come forth now and surround you in this safe and sacred space. And they want to be of service and assistance today. And of course, everything that we do is to the degree that you, your soul, your body, and your team will permit or allow. Just remember, none of these energies are doing anything to you, not mine, not my guides, not my team. We're simply relaying the information to you at the level of your higher self. And then you, at that level, your guides, your team, are bringing in the shifts for you. So we're just going to hold the container and allow for that to happen. And my Essence Mastery guides are reminding me that I didn't invite them to the party, so we're going to invite my guides as well. They're like, you called everybody else but us. All right. Here we go. We're inviting you at the level of your higher self and your body's higher self to access your own spiritual source, your own spiritual power, and to connect and engage with all grids and lines of love and light in all systems, levels, components, and all aspects of your body and your being. We call forth the appropriate sacred geometric healing shapes, holograms, and mandalas that have the capacity to support you today from a place of self-empowerment, self-healing, disconnection from discordant vibrations, divine clarity, divine perception, energetic discernment, allowing abundance, flow, love, and any other intentions you wish to bring in for yourself today. You can set those now. I'm going to ask that these intentions be held in your energetic fields. So I can feel the energy shifting already, and I believe that they were already getting started before, or rather during the set space. And it is around the connection that we are tuning into with the mass consciousness. And right now, the mass consciousness is really exploding with fear and terror and separation, lack, and just really low discordant vibrations. And when the masses get to that kind of frequency, there is kind of what I call like an energy freak out. It's like chaos. It's like a chaotic energy. Everybody starts fighting with each other, judgments being cast all over the place, you versus me, the whole mass consciousness grid. So what's happening now is, and I'm being guided to invite you to close your eyes, because this is going to be an exercise you can use at any time you find yourself tapping into that field of what I call what the hell. What the hell is going on? I'm feeling all this kind of crazy, chaotic, fearful energy. And so we're just going to invite you at the level of your higher self. And for this one, I'm going to call forth your higher self from the future as an ascended master to come back in the past, this current breath of now, to be of service and assistance to you, your body, and your team to the degree that they so choose. There you go. And the guides are telling me that you don't really need to do it because they're doing it. They're already working on it. But I'm going to walk you through kind of what that looks like, because some of you can't see this work. And they're like, okay, you can do that. Okay. So just kind of imagine that there's two clouds in the sky. And one cloud is dark, like it's going to rain, it's going to pour, it's really heavy, dense, dark clouds. And that is what we kind of perceive as the mass consciousness. Now, on the other side, if you just turn your perception a little bit, there we go, there is another cloud, and this cloud is like super white, and it's bright, and it's shiny, and this light is just piercing through it. And this is what we call the enlightened being consciousness. It holds a higher vibration. It holds vibrations of unity, of love, of peace, of joy, of abundance, of wealth. I mean, all the juicy good stuff, right? It's like going to the candy store and getting everything that you want. So just imagine for a moment, you, your body, and your team have like these, we can visualize them as cords or plugs or energy tentacles, however it is that you imagine, coming from your energy, from your body, from your team. But they're plugged into this dark, heavy cloud. And we're just going to have your higher self engage and locate where that's happening. And so what happens when you're plugged into that cloud is you receive the downloads, if you will, of what's happening in that cloud. So if you're empathic or intuitive, or you feel or sense energy, you'll feel like a sense of heaviness coming, a sense of negativity, a sense of fear, a sense of separation, the whole lower vibrating smorgasbord, if you will. And this is because you have these cords, right? These cords you plug in, and then you kind of download what's happening in that mass consciousness. So in order to be of service, right, we don't want to be a part of the fear and the panic that's occurring. We want to hold a higher vibration for that. So we're going to invite you to completely delete and dissolve everywhere you're hooked up into that mass consciousness. And in your imagination, you can just see or feel that those tentacles, those cords, are just kind of either falling away from that cloud or being pulled out or dissolving. However it is that you imagine it, your higher self from the future as an ascended master is going to pull all of those pieces out of that dark cloud. There we go. And she's going to clean them, or he's going to clean them and clear them of anywhere that those cords that are now removed from the mass consciousness is still holding that energy. So clean and clear all that. he or she is going to heal and repair those cords, because those cords do have a purpose and a function so that you can receive information. We just want to make sure that you're receiving it from a higher perspective as opposed to the masses, which is really what everyone else thinks, feels, and believes. She's going to return and retrieve all energy that's not yours, your body, or your team's back to its right and perfect place. Here we go. Release the empathic sensitivity that you're feeling from the mass consciousness. Recalibrate those grids to your own soul. Those cords to your own soul's essence. Okay. And then plug yourself in to that higher vibrating cloud, which is on the other side, the enlightened being cloud of consciousness. And we're just going to wait for that kind of unplug and replug into that higher vibration happens. Okay. Good. Activating all spiritual lessons and downloading the information from that consciousness as opposed to the dark, heavy consciousness, and then repattern it. Good. Same body, same team. So what can also happen when you're tapped into the mass consciousness is you can become what we call implanted with negative energy. And I look at implants kind of like a bubble, like a soap bubble, if you imagine it that way, that kind of sits in the energy field, the etheric body, the mental body, or the spiritual body. And it's kind of like a negative bubble, and the negative bubble kind of floats over, and it sits in your fields, and it has like a story it tells, like a real negative story, or a fear-mongering story, or a story of separation, or a story of abandonment, or victim, or whatever the story is. So we're just inviting your higher self, your body's higher self, and your team to engage and locate any negative implants that are hidden, conscious, unconscious, seen or unseen, in your etheric body, of you, your body, and your team, in the mental body, in the spiritual body. There we go. Ooh, you guys feel that? It's just kind of a little bit of an electronic flutter. We're going to delete and dissolve that. And we're going to invite you to lift that negative implanted bubble up and off all systems, levels, components, all aspects of your body and your being. And let's take it up to the heart of source for transformation. Or back to its right and perfect place where it can be received with all relevant, appropriate information. Or in short speak, just return and retrieve all pieces. There we go. We're going to ask for a clearing of the mental body of any lower vibrational thoughts, feelings, or beliefs that you're carrying that are not yours. They may be your body, they may be somebody else's, it may be a family member, it may be an ancestor, like a program, or like a little bubble from an ancestral line. There we go. That is still there, just kind of talking about fear all the time. Let's delete and dissolve all that. Let's return and retrieve all those pieces. Any mental programs, thoughts, feelings, or beliefs that you're running that belong to other people or your family line that are not yours, that you're no longer in alignment with. Anywhere you're thinking, feeling, or believing things that are unconscious, because that's just kind of how it was done all the way through the ancestral line. Let's delete and dissolve all those and return and retrieve all those pieces. And we're lifting that out of the mental body, and the mental body is all about the way we think, all of the thoughts we have. So we're really kind of recalibrating the mental body, clearing that up a little bit. Any feelings that are not yours come from the emotional body. Any thoughts come from your mental body, just for clarity for people who aren't aware of the subtle bodies. Okay. So they're telling me that the mental pieces are moving, but it feels like there might be a little bit of a block by the team. Okay, so we're going to call forth your teams, or your team members who are having a little bit of a difficulty with this one piece. We're just going to see what's going on with the team. They have thoughts. Other people. They will. Okay, so there's a little fear in the team that they won't be accepted. So if you clear out all the thoughts and you no longer align or think like other people, there's this little chip of fear that's playing a part in here. What happens if I don't think like everybody else? What happens then? Well, people will be mad at me, they'll reject me, they won't accept me because, I won't like them anymore. And I really want you to take a moment, team as well, to think about that, okay? Do you really want to think the way everybody else is thinking? The way that mass consciousness thinks, the way that your family thinks, the way that your ancestors think? And ask yourself, are those thought programs and ways of being in alignment with who you really are right now in your spiritual growth and evolution? And they're saying, no, they're not. Excellent. So let's delete and dissolve all of those. There we go. Oh, nice big one. And return and retrieve all of those pieces back to its right and perfect place where they can be received with all relevant and appropriate information. Good. They're like, okay, we got it. Now, because there is that fear, I'm going to invite you at the level of your higher self, your body's higher self, and your team to engage and locate that fear that you still might be holding and delete and dissolve it all. Return and retrieve the fear and bring in for yourself, your body, and your team the vibration of your own reference points and your own vibrations, templates, blueprints, grids for self-acceptance, for self-confidence, for courage and empowerment. There we go. Nice. Bring those in. Infuse those vibrations in every system, level, component, all aspects of your body, your being, and your team. Moving into greater confidence, trust, and courage to not be a part of the system. Whatever that system is, whether it's mass consciousness, the family system, the ancestral system, the system that has a belief from your colleagues, from your teachers, to really allow yourself to have, ooh, wow, there it goes, ooh, nice, in your little power center, the system that really supports you from your own essence. Trusting your own essence, your way of thinking that comes to you through inspiration and intuition. Good. And activate that in your divine mind, in your energetic fields, in the mental body. Good. And repattern. Same body, same team. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. And this really kind of goes for everybody, right? We all want to try and fit in. We all want to be accepted. We want people to like us. And sometimes what we do is we will align with a thought or a consciousness that allows us to do that. Right? Well, if I think like these people, then they'll like me. If I do what they want me to do, they'll like me. They'll accept me. And this is kind of, I'm seeing like this kind of goes back to the days of like caveman times, right? You either were part of the group or you were kind of cast out. And then you were left to survive. So for some of you, this is a survival mechanism. Okay, so everywhere that you're using alignment with other people's thoughts, feelings, and beliefs as a mechanism to keep yourself safe from not being kicked out by the tribe or not being murdered by the tribe, the ancient tribe, the caveman times. Engage and locate everywhere you're using that as a safety mechanism. Good. There you go. Delete and dissolve it all. Return and retrieve all pieces, all responsibilities, all fear, all terror. There's terror around that. Return and retrieve all that. Delete and dissolve it. Destroy and uncreate it all. There you go. And there's a little heart flutter of fear coming in. Don't worry, we got you covered. We're going to invite your higher self, your body's higher self, and your team to then engage and locate in the higher realms your own unique personal template, blueprint, and grid for safety. That is specifically calibrated for your own soul's essence, the way your soul has mastered safety for yourself, that will work for you now in this present breath and going forward. And to locate that in the higher realms. Good. To activate that grid up high. It's kind of like they're going in the library, opening the book, seeing your grid, turning it on, taking down all the notes about that safety grid, and then reflecting all the light, sound, color, vibrations, mechanisms. There it comes. Down to you here, to you, your body, and your team. Into this current breath of now. Locating all your orientation points and reference points for safety that you have externally on other people, places, and things, and completely destroying and uncreating those. Returning and retrieving them back to your divine line in a whole and healed state, cleaned and cleared, so that you're reference pointing your safety internally on these new vibrations that are coming in for you. This is how you keep yourself safe. You hold it in your divine mind. There it comes. In your divine mind. For you, your body, and your team. Bring it in. Put it in your energy fields. Put it in your divine line. Divine line. Good. Activate it. So now that it's in the divine line, we have it there. Turn it on. Turn it on so you can use it. Good. Activate the spiritual lessons of personal safety. Good. Good. And then repattern it. Same body, same team. When you're holding safety internally on your divine line, that increases your ability to feel safe. It increases your ability to protect yourself. It increases, believe it or not, it can affect body weight in the body. If the body feels safe, it doesn't have to feel as if it needs to be bigger in order to protect itself. So this is always a good one when you're trying to, or when you gain some weight that comes up on you unexpectedly. You always want to tune in and ask the body, Deva, are you feeling safe? Are you putting on this extra weight because you don't feel safe? And if she says, yeah, I feel if I get bigger, then I can protect myself. Well, let's delete and dissolve everywhere you're using body weight as a mechanism to keep yourself safe. Let's delete and dissolve all that, return and retrieve all that. There we go. Because now we have safety in on your device. There, wow, that felt really good. Solar plexus just kind of like lit up there for a minute. Now you have safety internally on your divine line. Reference point your safety internally. Therefore, you won't need to use food to keep yourself safe. So everything and everywhere you're doing that, just destroy, uncreate, delete, dissolve, return, and retrieve all pieces. Good. Whew, excellent. Excellent. Activate the spiritual essence and repattern. Okay. Same body, same team. Okay. Okay. So this next piece kind of goes along with what we were talking about, feeling accepted, being a part of the tribe. And along with that is when you are kicked out of the tribe, what happens? You have to keep yourself safe, which we already did a little bit of work on. You have to survive, but you also have to support yourself, right? So we rely sometimes on other people for support. And it's the same theory, right? So when you look externally for people to help support you, whether it's, person, place, or thing, then you're not holding that energy in your line, right? So if you're not holding that in there, then you're worried about, are other people going to help me? Why do I have to rely on other people to do things? Well, you don't. So let's recalibrate your support mechanisms since we're now feeling a little bit more safe, right? We're disconnected from the thought processes of the mass consciousness, the ancestors, and the family. Now let's move into greater support of oneself. So everywhere, let's first engage and locate all of your orientation points and reference points for self-support that you've placed externally on other people, places, things, family members, teachers, healers, gurus, colleagues, people of influence in your community, and engage and locate all that. Whoa, that's a big one. Let's delete and dissolve all of that and return and retrieve all pieces. Bringing those support tentacles, is what I kind of call them, reference points, back to you at the level of your higher self, your body's higher self, and your team. It will clean them, clear them, recalibrate them, and bring them back down to you. Here you go, onto your own divine line, in a whole and healed state, and into this present breath of now and beyond. So that moves internally. You might even feel it kind of coming back in. It feels like it's coming into the chest and the solar plexus, like moving internally. So now we're feeling supported, that we can support ourselves. Well, a little bit. We have to go get that grid. So let's do that. Let's engage and locate our self-support grid in the higher realms. I call it the library, which is the library of your soul, really. If we imagine your soul as a library, it holds everything that you've ever experienced from every lifetime, dimension, space, continuum, reality in your library. So we're just going to invite your higher self to go to the library and access your self-support grid. The way in which your soul perfectly supports itself here on the planet without having to rely or count on anyone else to do it for them. Now, that doesn't mean, you can't have somebody make lunch for you or pay the bill at a restaurant. It's more energetic, right? So it plays into a little bit like I can support myself. I can create money. I can create relationships. I can support myself in that way. It's a little bit more like that. She's going to get that support grid. There it is. She opens it up, or he opens it up. It's like lit on fire, and then she's going to reflect those vibrations, sounds, lights, colors, frequencies, grids, and templates down to you here, for you, your body, and your team, and into the physical dimension, into this present breath of now and beyond. Inviting you, your body, and your team to move into greater states of support, to align with this new energy that's coming in for you. Okay, now that it's in the divine line, we're going to activate it. We're going to turn it on, right? And infuse that self-support in the divine line. There we go. Whoa, that was awesome. Okay, turn it on, reference point it. And that means so that every time the body, the team, the higher self wants to, feel supportive, we're reference pointing it, which means go here first. And in this case, we're asking them to go into the divine line first, inward first, before going externally. Okay, so go inward first and reference point where your self-support is in your divine line. Activate it. Good. Activate all the spiritual lessons around it. So if you're feeling unsupported, the activation of the spiritual lesson is support, personal self-support. Good. And repattern. Ooh, there we go. Little swirly whirly. Same body, same team. Okay, and they have questions. I'm just going to tune in for a second here and see what they are asking. They're asking for a recalibration of the support grid itself. Okay. All right, so inviting your higher self, your body's higher self and team to then engage and locate your current support grid. Okay. And everywhere you're using everybody else's support mechanism, so maybe you borrowed a piece from your grandparent or a family member or colleague, anywhere you kind of like, wove your support grid with someone else's tool or vibration, delete and dissolve it all, clean it out. Right? Because that's not how you support you. That's how they support them. And when you weave that into your grid, first of all, it doesn't work. It messes up your grid. And you rely on that tool, and it still doesn't work. I mean, you can keep that there for until the cows come home, but that sucker is not going to work. Ever. So you might as well get rid of it. So delete and dissolve it. Return and retrieve all pieces that don't belong to you, your body, or your team in this grid. Oh, and there's a lot. And send those back to its right and perfect place where it can be received with all relevant and appropriate information. There you go. And we're inviting your higher self, your body's higher self, and your team to then reweave this support grid. And I always see this as like crocheting or knitting when I say reweave, and it really is kind of like a reweaving, but it's more like instead of using yarn, they use like golden light. So reweaving that grid with your own self-support mechanism that is perfectly and uniquely your soul's gift, tool, or mastery. There you go. Of how you perfectly and divinely support yourself. There we go. Just going to wait for that to be kind of rewoven. So since we got everybody else's garbage out of it, there's some spaces there. So we're going to fill up those spaces with your own support tools, your own support mechanisms, because those will work. And actually, let's bring in the higher vibrational ones that was reflected down to you and reweave those into this grid to kind of give your support mechanism a little bit of a boost. Good. And we're just holding that space for that reweaving to happen. The body's doing it. Team's doing it. Good. So everybody's doing it. It's very important that all three are working on it at the same time. You, your body, and your team must be in alignment. If one of them is not working, then you will empathically feel it. You'll still feel stuck and unsupported. Good. Now let's take this beautiful newly woven support grid and bring that in for you here in the physical dimension, in your divine line, in your energetic field. There it comes. And turn it on, full blast, light that sucker up, infuse it into every system level component and aspect of your body and your being and your team to the degree that they so choose. Good. Activate all the spiritual lessons around that. Excellent. And repattern it. Same for your body, same for your team. Good. Oh, that's interesting. So there's a lot of heart energy moving. I just kind of wanted to tune into that a little bit. And it looks like it's a clearing that's happening. They're saying yes. And it's a clearing of ancestral biases. Oh, yeah, there it is. Nice and juicy. So we're just going to delete and dissolve and return and retrieve all those pieces. And when we say ancestral biases, you're talking about, oh my goodness. Woo, that caught me off guard. Oh, Nice. All right. Ancestral biases. Delete and dissolve it all. Oh my goodness. This is the perceptions, rejections, separations, isolation, abandonment, victimization that the ancestral line may be carried over into the now through your system, through your patterns, through the lineage. We're just deleting and dissolving all of that, right? Because that bias no longer aligns with how you're seeing, which came from that came from their own experience, which is not in alignment with where you are right now. Just delete and dissolve all that and return and retrieve all pieces. Lifting that up and out of the heart. It also feels like it's coming out of the throat a little bit. And that's all about not feeling able to actually, what's the word? Help me with the word. Yeah, not feeling able to express yourself with the ancestors in the sense of, well, if I say this and it's not in alignment with my ancestors or with my family, again, there's going to be backlash. So let's clean that out of the throat. Everywhere you're holding fear of not being accepted, not being able to express yourself, or fear of repercussions, or getting in trouble, or not being in alignment with the group consciousness, let's delete and dissolve all that. There it goes. Return and retrieve all those pieces. Let's do that for the tribal lines and the ancestral lines as well. Return, delete, dissolve, return, retrieve, destroy and uncreate all that. There we go. It's very interesting because I'm just being reminded that all of this is coming up now in November, not just because of what we've experienced in the world in the sense of the current events, but also Thanksgiving is coming up, the holidays are coming up. These are times where you are immersed in family, ancestral, cultural, and religious energies. And that can be quite a squeeze if you're no longer in that space anymore. And so we're just, oh, there it goes, whoa, right out of the heart. That can be, or create very tenuous relationships during the holidays when you're supposed to be enjoying one another's company and having fun. And instead of creating discord, because you're fighting to separate yourself from a lower vibration, this is going to help kind of make those transitions a little smoother. Also allowing you to feel like you are entitled and have worth and value in what you say or feel or think, without that fear, that tribal fear of being kicked out of the tribe, being left to starve and survive and not being able to support yourself. So anywhere you're holding any of that energy, or anywhere that energy brings anything else up for you, delete and dissolve all that and return and retrieve all pieces. Ooh, that's a little whirly, swirly energy. Okay. And we're just going to let all those pieces kind of settle down a little bit. It's kind of like, those are really big. So we're going to activate all spiritual lessons and repattern that last process. And as that kind of shifts for your body and your team, we're going to talk a little bit about how to set up an energetic container for the holidays. So how can I go to the holidays or the dinner or the event where everybody I really don't want to see is going to be at? Or I know we're going to fight with so-and-so, or so-and-so is going to pick a fight. Like, how can we kind of avoid that, right? Let's kind of make it smooth and cool so we can actually have a good time. And so this is really setting up an energetic container where you can set a space for these types of events. And lots of stuff coming out of that throat area. And this is more tribal stuff. So the first thing that we do is we invite you at the level of your higher self to do the work. So you're going to ask your higher self, basically your team, your guides, to kind of like set up this safe little bubble in the higher realms where everybody's going to be at this, we'll call it dinner. Over here in the U.S., we have Thanksgiving, so we'll just use that as an example. So I want a sacred container for Thanksgiving. Okay, we're create this really awesome, safe, sacred space. And what you ask for is in that safe, sacred space, you, your body, and your team, they all relay all relevant and appropriate energetic information to all the people and all the beings you're going to connect with and interact with during that time. So it's kind of like sending people ahead, a day or two or a couple hours, to have all these conversations, these conscious conversations in the higher realms from a place in which you can interact at a more higher vibration. So it's kind of like the energy is already being exchanged. You can ask for the release of all trauma, the release of all negative karma. If you're going to be seeing someone that you have issues with, you can ask for the Ascended Masters to come into your bubble, to kind of play referee between you and this other person, to send information, to shift the help you shift the energy. But the idea of it all is in this sacred space, you want to create or have an intention, create an intention of having a loving, interactive space where you can kind of talk out all the garbage before you even get there. So when you do actually arrive, it's almost as if there's nothing left to say because it's already been said in the higher realms. It's really kind of a neat trick. There's less empathic sensitivity. There's less irritation. It's not 100% foolproof. There's always going to be somebody who wants to get a dig in. But it can make the situation or the event just go a little smoother without the lower vibrations of anger and irritation, fear, resentment, whole 9 yards. So you just ask yourself, in summary, ask your higher self to set up that space, to send all the information to its right and perfect place where it can be received. I mean, if you can't even remember that, it's like, higher self, go and set up that safe, sacred container Elizabeth was talking about and interact with all the people that we're going to be seeing and meeting, visible and invisible, right? Because sometimes your team is going to talk to their team, and sometimes they don't like each other either. So have those little conversations up there and kind of smooth things out, ask the Ascended Masters to come in and assist you in doing that. You want to have this container set from a place of empowerment, right? You don't want to set it up as a victim. You want to set it up from a place of empowerment, energetic discernment, divine boundaries, so people aren't invading your space. Any other intentions you wish to bring in? Love, joy, and healing is always a good one. Allowing, trust, faith. These are just some things that you can calibrate it. Self-support, self-love. So anything that you really are working on that you want to have addressed. And then you just allow your higher self to kind of set that up, your team and your guides set that up, and just allow that conversation to kind of happen, and then see what happens in the physical dimension when you show up. It's really kind of cool. Okay. Whew. All right. I'm just going to tune in. Let's see which one. Everything else seems to be kind of settling. Let's see what else we're going to run here. All right. Everywhere. Okay. Okay. Oh. Feel as if. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this one's for self-value. This is very interesting, actually. So you have a point of view and you express it, and people just kind of look at you like you're nuts, right? Like, That has absolutely no value. So, yeah. How about that? Nail on the head there. All right. So, higher self, bodies, higher self, and team. Excuse me. Woo. We're going to invite you to engage and locate everywhere you value other people's opinions and thoughts and feel as if you aren't valued for your own point of view, right? So you have this place where you do value other people's opinions and other people's thoughts, probably even more than your own, okay? And everywhere that you're not, you actually come out and you express your point of view, and here's what I think, and everywhere that's not received, okay? We're going to invite you to engage and locate everywhere that's happening and to delete and dissolve all that. Return and retrieve all of those pieces, okay? To engage and locate everywhere everyone else has projected their judgments, separations, points of view onto you, and everywhere you took that on, that was more valuable than your own point of view. Delete and dissolve all that. Return and retrieve all those pieces. Destroy and uncreate them all. There you go. Whoa. Okay, yeah. I'm going to grab that right now. And everywhere you're valuing other people's opinions and thoughts, and you feel that you're not being valued in any other beliefs, patterns, realities, old stories, programs, or paradigms that you have around that, from any dimension, time, space, continuum, or reality, delete and dissolve all of that. Oh, there it goes. Return and retrieve all those pieces. Okay. Good. Let's activate that and repattern it, please. Same body, same team. Okay. Now, for some of you, your third eye is lighting up. And that is everywhere that you do not see from your own perspective, your own soul's wisdom, your own soul's mastery, or everywhere you don't value the perception from your own soul's wisdom or soul's mastery. You don't trust it, you don't believe it, you don't value it. Engage and locate all of that, along with any beliefs, patterns, realities, old stories, programs, and paradigms that you're running. Delete and dissolve all that. Oh, nice one. Return and retrieve all pieces. There you go. Whoa. Recalibrate the third eye to your own soul's wisdom, infusing it with value, self-value, valuing that information that you see from your own soul's wisdom. Trust. Oh, there you go. Ooh, yes, so that you can speak it. Infusing it with trust and value. Trusting and valuing that the information that you think and see and perceive is valuable. It has value. Everything has value, and that you can trust it. Okay? Everywhere you're not doing that, delete, dissolve, return, retrieve. There we go. Infuse with trust and value. Activate the spiritual lessons around that. And repattern. Okay. And I'm getting that you guys are kind of full right now, but I just want to check in. There was one more piece there I thought was hanging out there. I just want to check it now. It might have cleared with that. Oh, okay. So just a perception. So on that last process, some of you might have a little bit of an eye disturbance, like a physical eye disturbance, like your eyes kind of wig out, or they flinch, or they do something, or they feel a little weird. That's normal. It's also a physical sign of your perception altering with that last process. Okay. We ask that you be wrapped in a safe, sacred container that has calibrated your own soul's essence out of your body and your team, that has the capacity to seal these vibrations in to the degree that is appropriate for your own spiritual growth and evolutionary state. We thank the angelic realm of come forth to serve and assist, and to you for having the courage to move out of the mass consciousness thinking and into your own soul's wisdom, for as you shift, humanity shifts with you. Let it be so. Oh. Now there's still some energy moving, so I just want to take a minute and just kind of look at that and see if there's anything we need to bring in for that piece. Okay. So there is some stuff that's happening that we're going to address during dream time. They're saying we can't really work on it now because the other pieces are still moving. The energy, they say, will move for the next 3 weeks, how long will the energy session run? Another hour. You might still feel energy moving for the next hour, and it can take about 2 weeks to integrate all of these pieces. So if you don't feel it in 24, 48, or 72 hours, don't worry. It's still shifting, and it will continue to shift. Very good. So I hope you guys all have a fabulous Thanksgiving. And we will talk soon. Feel free to hop over to Facebook and let me know your experiences. We'd love to hear from you. Have a good night.